welcome to Girls, Gays, Animes Live. We're safe to love what you love and who you love. I am your host, Valsaraptor, and I love co-hosting with my cat, Leia. I'm here with my other favorite co-hosts, T and DokiDokiBunBun. T, introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm T, and I love a crisp fall morning and a nice hot beverage.
Ooh, what about you, Doki?
I'm DokiDokiBunBun, and I love starting my morning with a good cry. It's true.
It is
Sometimes
true.
you need it.
Honestly, there's like serotonin. There's some science behind that, I think.
There definitely is.
Yeah. All right, so for those that are joining us, today we are talking about our current manga reads, or some of our favorite manga reads that we've done recently. I've prepared way too many to talk about. I've got 4. Do you guys want to go first? You want me to jump in?
I had the least, so
Okay.
I should probably
So you
go on
go
the
last.
end,
Yeah.
and then you guys fill in.
For sure. All right, I will go first then. I'm going to talk about, this is See You in My 19th Life. So this isn't a manga per se. This is a print of a webtoon, which means that it is like in full color, which I love. The pages are pretty thick and hearty. But the premise behind this one is the main character, lady, she is the type of, so she remembers every life she ever had. After she dies, she wakes up, and then once she hits a certain age, she's able to recall everything that had happened in her previous life. So because of that, obviously, she's got hella trauma from, like, living through, like, certain dynasties of time and, like, watching complete massacres or, like, being murdered. But what's also cool is that, like, she remembers being, like, a dude in her old life. She remembers, like, every little different, like, thing that had happened. So then she hits her 18th life, and she's at the point where she's like, I don't want to care about anyone because they're just gonna die, and then I'm gonna die and remember them, but they're gonna die and like they're gonna be fine. They're not gonna remember anything, but I'm gonna be stuck with this trauma of like continually losing the people that I care about. So she's like, I care about people, but like I'm not gonna get too attached to anyone. So obviously in her 18th life, she gets super attached to this kid, and they get in a car accident, and she kind of protects him as during the accident, so he doesn't die, but she does. And kind of like as she's dying, she's like, I'll find you in my next life. And they were in the process of going to an amusement park for his birthday, and basically he is completely traumatized by the whole event. He goes deaf in one ear.
Aww.
And he doesn't know what she says as she's dying, but like while they were going to the amusement park, she was actually going to tell him like, hey, I remember my other lives. That's why I am the way that I am, yada yada. But basically she comes back in her 19th life, and it's her sole mission to find this kid and basically try to reunite with him. And so that's the whole series. So I read the first 2 prints, which I think are the only ones that are available right now. And I tell you, I rushed to Webtoon, which is where these were originally published, and I blasted through the rest of it. So I probably will buy these in full, but I also did pay on Webtoons to read all the way through the entire series.
Oh my gosh.
It was just so action-packed and like really, it was written really well. I really enjoyed it. Also, wait, look, hold on, the covers, they like go together.
Aww.
Isn't this
So-
cute?
I have 2 questions. One of
Yes.
them I lost, and it'll come back to me. The first one is when she goes to look for him, is he
Yeah.
still the same person, or is he also reincarnated? Does she not know?
No, it's the same kid, because she comes back like immediately. Like as soon as she
Okay.
dies, she gets reincarnated into like the next baby that's born, basically.
Okay.
But again, she doesn't remember her last life until she hits like 6 or 7.
Okay, so how old is he at this point?
He's basically gonna be like, instead of in the original, he's younger than her by a couple of years. So when she comes back, because maybe she was like 7 or 9, now he is like, it's 7 or 9 years ahead of her when she's reborn.
Okay. And then I don't remember what my other question was. I had
I love-
something else.
Fair
I
enough.
love how it's like a good reincarnation story, but it's, I mean, I only read reincarnation stories, I feel like, at
Hmm.
this point. So it's
Yeah.
nice, though, that it feels like a fresh take on a reincarnation story.
Hmm.
Like, it's not like, ooh, I was reincarnated into this book or video game. It's like the real concept of reincarnation.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
And so what's cool is like there's only like one or two other people through the story who know that she can remember her past lives, but
Mhm.
like kind of a one slight hindrance I'll say, like as she's reincarnated and she's trying to like reconnect with this kid, is she had a younger sister in her 18th life who,
Mm.
and like the two families, like her 18th life family and then this kid's family, they were close. So like her little sister still like hangs out with the
Mhm.
kid, and like she's like, oh, I don't want my little sister to know that it's me, like it can create
Yeah.
problems, like all this other like kind of nuanced stuff going on around like her trying to hide who she is. She wants this kid to like fall in love with her the way that she is now.
Mhm.
She doesn't want him to love her for who she was. Like she wants him to love her for who she like is in totality. So she doesn't
Yeah.
like out the gate tell him like, "Hey, I'm that girl that like died." She like tries to get him to fall for like this version of her before she like
Mhm.
admits who she is.
That's so complicated.
It
Mhm.
Why? It's so interesting that she's like, I want this one person to like find me, but I don't want anyone else I cared
Mhm.
about
well,
to
so
interact with me.
she wants to like find him, but again, like she doesn't want anyone to know
Mm.
that she's like on her 19th life. Like she just wants to live her 19th life, but she wants to like have the relationship with the kid, and like I mean she doesn't mind being near her old baby sister. She just doesn't want like her old family to know that it's her because it
Yeah.
like is complicated for it just would be more complicated. And she's like, I would rather just have my relationship that I have with them now, and I don't want them to have to go through the sorrow of like, knowing that I was their daughter or sister before, but I died and then they've already
Mhm.
mourned me, so then for me to come back, like it's too
Mhm.
much. I would rather just be who I am now.
That's so much to carry. Like,
Mhm.
I'm so sad now.
It's
I need
so
wonder-
good. It's so
back
sweet. It's
my-
such a good story.
I wonder if she'll run into anyone else in the course of the story that can remember their lives too.
That would be cool. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of inevitable in that kind of
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
Oh, I remembered my other question.
Oh, yeah.
Is it finished on Webtoon?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. So yeah, like I said, I started and I was like, is it done? So then I went in and I was like, bet, and it was so good. So
That's good.
highly recommend. Again, that was See You in My 19th Life. It's available through Eyes Press. They printed it, but it is also available to read on Webtoon.
Nice.
Full color.
I'll need to borrow that from my local Valsaraptor library.
Yeah. All right. Doki, you're next.
All right. I've talked about this one before, but I found the loophole because I talked about it as an anime, but it's also a manga, so I'm going to talk about it here too. So, this is The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. It's a mouthful, but look at how cute these little angels are.
Oh my
Look at how
goodness.
sweet they are.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that one.
It's so cute. I love this one. It's a Yen Press. It's really cute because, once again, it's another I've been reincarnated. But some things that are really nice about this are that, like, in a lot of reincarnated stories, I feel like they're like, oh, I wish I could get home to my past life, and wow, this is terrible. She's so into it. She's like, wow, I can learn how to fly a broom now because magic exists. And that's like her whole shtick, is she just wants to fly a broom like a witch. But she
my
can't
gosh.
she can't use magic, of course. So she's like basically becomes this like engineer scientist who like uses like all this magic to create like cool tools and gadgets,
fun.
and it's really cool. And then Yuffie is the like spurned ex-fiance of her prince brother. And so like at the I don't want to be with you anymore, I want to be with this lady, like traditional villainess storyline, she literally crashes through the window on her broom, picks her up, and is like, I'm taking you with me, you're mine now.
You're
And then
coming home with
flies
me.
out the window and shows up at the King's, is like, yeah, I'm gonna marry Yuffie instead. I'm so sorry. And they're like, wait, do you want to marry her or do you want her to be your assistant? She's like, I don't know, maybe both.
Why not both?
But this is another good one too, because I feel like in like we get queer baited a lot in stuff like this, but like
Yeah.
it explicitly shows a scene of her telling her dad like, no, I'm only gonna marry a woman. I'm so sorry, I can't be queen because you won't get kids. Sorry. It's so
That's
freaking
good.
cute. It's so cute. They're so innocent and sweet, but they also have a lot of very real and complex emotions, which I've said before, I feel like this genre doesn't always really dive into. It can be pretty surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one does a good job of like fleshing out real people, which is nice.
That's good.
So cute.
That sounds so stinking cute. How many printed volumes do you own?
I own 3 of them. There's 5 out right now.
Okay.
By our next recording, I'll own all 5. Because,
Sweet.
like I said, I watched the anime originally and was obsessed with it. But one thing that the manga is pretty much a direct reflection of the anime, to be honest. However, you do see into Yuffie's thoughts a little more in the manga, which is nice because she's way more complex. Well, not way more, but she's a bit more complex in this than she is in the anime.
Yeah. It's always like that, though.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It was nice, though, because originally I was like, I don't need to read the manga. I've obsessively watched this anime.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like a direct one-to-one comparison. So it's always nice when there's at least a little more. And it's not like, well, I just collected this because I love it. Not because I'm ever going to truly need to reread it.
Well, Tia and I have talked about that in a couple of instances with like really, with even like the really popular animes, like even like you said, like the romance ones where it's like we talked about like Cherry Magic and how like in the, because there's a lot of like processing thoughts because the whole shtick is like he can read people's minds. And so seeing that in like the manga form versus the anime or even versus the live action, like there's different monologues that you miss, there's different like musical numbers that are missed, and the same thing with, and I know this is kind of like weird because the first one's like more about thoughts and the second one is what's the other one that we talked about? A Sign of Affection. I was like looking at my manga collection where that one you miss so much more of the personality of the characters because there's so much more thought processing happening in the manga than in the anime itself. And like the anime standalone for folks who haven't read the manga are like, okay, yeah, this is good, but it's just you really do miss so much more of the depth of the characters.
Yep.
Which
It's
sounds
hard to
sounds
fill
silly
that
when you
all
think
in.
about romance, but like it even like affects it at that level, right?
That's what I always want, though. Like, I know some people get really mad if, like, an anime isn't exactly the same as the source material, but I kind of like that. I kind of like being able to, like, consume the anime and then go back to learn, like, more if I'm watching first and then reading. Consume paralysis.
I think it only bothers me when it's like back in the early aughts when they couldn't keep up with the mangaka and they would just make up their own story.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which, like, sometimes it does turn out to be good and interesting in its own way. Like the Full Metal Alchemist original anime was still interesting, but it didn't, like, there's definitely the spot where it splits.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it is bad and it is not an okay split. So
Fruits
then you
Basket.
have to, yeah. Oh my
Original
gosh.
Fruits Basket.
So when
So
I
bad.
was, gosh, I think it was 2012? No, I can't remember. One Otakon that I went to, people were so upset with the ending of the original Fruits Basket anime that there was a whole station set up in the dealer's room where we were all trying to make X amount of paper cranes to send to Japan to be like, hey, here's our peace offering. Please redo Fruits Basket because we did not like it.
It was so bad.
It was
truly
so
bad.
Yeah.
Never forget creepy Yuki just like phasing into the darkness and the rats. Never forget. I don't know why they did that.
For funsies. And the Yuki slap. Can never
Yeah.
forget the Yuki slap.
All right, T, you're up. Before you get going, though, I might have you boot your dog out of your room because I keep hearing your dog scratch and the collar jingle.
Really?
Yeah. Doki, could you hear it earlier?
I wasn't paying attention.
No, you're fine. Yeah, like
So sorry.
every time they scratch, like I can hear maybe it was your cat, I don't know, but I could hear like a collar like shift and jingle.
That's weird. Okay. They're not even that close to me. Hold on. Please hold.
Intense microphone powers. I'll entertain you with a side anecdote. And by that I mean Leia is here
Yeah.
and
It's just Leia.
it's just Leia,
Hey Leia,
our
do you want me to read you a manga?
our fourth co-host for the day. Or fourth host. Let's say co-host. Can you relax? Hello for those joining our live. We've got 82 likes. That's pretty good for our TikTok live.
Let's play some fine-ass elevator music while I'm gone.
Our tech
right.
crew just told us you can hear us just fine.
Excellent. Thank you, Tech Crew. Shout out. So one of the ones that I read this month, I only read 3, but I read Confessions of a Shy Baker, and once again, shout out to your local library. I utilized Hoopla again. Let me see if this will... There you go.
That looks so cute.
It looks so cute.
So it was. I enjoyed this. So it was. But I will say, and I didn't register this myself while I was reading it, but when I went back and I was looking at reviews, I'm gonna put like a trigger warning, I guess. Other people saw like fat phobia in this and like slight disordered eating, so I do want to throw that out before I read that, before I talk about it. So it is about the guy with the dark hair. Mm-hmm. He is a closeted real estate agent, and this is his boyfriend who works at a nursing home.
Hold on, T, hold on.
Yeah, it's important to the plot. It's important to the plot.
No, wait. Because when you say closeted real estate agent, I hear...
Wait,
I hear he's afraid to tell people that he's a real estate agent.
Is that...
It's one scenario where he kind of is, so yeah.
Is that not what she meant? Because I also assumed that's what we meant here.
It's a closeted gay man who is a real estate agent.
Oh.
That's what I meant.
I was like,
I would
why
also
is
be
that a secret? He's a baker by day, real estate agent by night.
Other way around. But he does, there is a scene in which somebody is, like, talking about changing apartments and stuff, and he's, like, trying to bite his tongue, and they mention something, and then he just can't help it anymore, and he has to, like, cut in. But, main character is the gentleman with the dark hair who is a closeted real estate agent. At his company, it's him, and he has an underling, I don't know what to call it. He's the boss of the real estate company, and he's keeping it a secret that he is gay presently, just because the environment and everything we've talked about before in Japan is a little different than what we experience here in the States. So he's not out, but his husband is at his job, and I thought that was interesting to kind of see the juxtaposition of both of their lives together. Yeah. But the real estate agent is trying to figure out how to bring in more customers, and his underling person, she's like, why don't we, like, advertise that we're very LGBTQ plus friendly? And he's like, do you even know what those mean? Those letters mean? And he's trying not to out himself to her, but he's just trying to be like, do you know what you're talking about? So the main plot is him, like, or one of the plots is him trying to balance this work-life thing with her. The overarching plot, though, is his husband, his boyfriend, he got a bad score on his Japanese health score that they do every year. So while he does like to bake and he makes treats for his boyfriend, and he's done this their entire 4-year relationship, he's cut it down to on Wednesday it is their cheat day, but he also tries to find ways to make it slightly healthier for him. So he'll use like almond flour, or there's one time where he makes whipped cream and he uses coconut cream instead to make whipped cream. And the thing that I really like about this is they have at the end of the chapters, they'll show you like a little recipe. And when he's baking, he is like in his head, he's telling you what he's doing. He's like, okay, I have to set the oven to this while I'm doing this. And I really like this. It was very cute. It was just talking about like their daily lives together. Like at one point, the aunt of the main character, she ends up in a nursing home and they end up inheriting her dog. And they didn't want a dog to begin with. And now they have this little Papillon. And the boyfriend is very excited about the Papillon. And the main character is like, we don't need a dog. You work 12-hour shifts. And he's like, but look at her. She's gorgeous. We can't get rid of her. And it's just them dealing with their daily lives, and he likes to, it's like, it's not really a secret that he likes to bake, but he is very shy when he talks about it, because, again, he's not trying to give people the impression that he's gay, even though he is, unless he knows they're a safe person. And he goes to yoga all the time, and the women and him, like, swap baking secrets, and they're like, oh, you're so feminine, and he's like, no, I'm not, I'm very big and manly and strong.
Everyone knows straight men can't eat goods. Everyone knows that.
But again, like I said, just a trigger warning that did not register to me because of the way that he changes the recipes and the stigma in Japan around those health assessments. I would say there might be like some fat phobia. There is some disordered eating in that aspect. It did not stand out to me. But like I said, other people saw that, and I just wanted to make that aware.
What did you say the name was? I'm going to throw it in the chat.
It is called Confessions of a Shy Baker, and currently, I believe there are 3 volumes. I'm not seeing more, and you can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Crunchyroll, Books A Million, Indigo, IndieBound, and Bookshop.
Ooh.
And it is from Tokyo Pop.
I feel like that's a hard line to try to balance of like the wanting people to feel obviously comfortable in who they are because they should,
right?
But also like understanding that some people are trying to like work on themselves or make healthy, not even to like lose weight necessarily, but just make healthier lifestyle choices.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you change the recipe,
line.
That's what I thought was that they were just trying to make healthier choices.
Right. Yeah, that's how I was seeing it, and that's kind of like, to me, how they were framing it in the context of the book. And his boyfriend is excited when he's like, oh, this is how I cut out these calories for you. This is how I'm saving this for us. And he would be like, oh, that's so cool. I would never think to do that. Like, his boyfriend seems very on board with it.
Yeah. Very positive.
Yeah, he's not upset with it by any means. He's excited that he's getting healthier and also still gets to enjoy sweets.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, what's interesting about this is that, like, I think it's, so for the underling to bring up, like, oh, why don't we advertise that we're LGBTQ plus, why don't, in Japan, I have heard that it's fairly difficult and for, like, gay couples to get homes or rentals easily. And so it's interesting to see that the closeted real estate agent, not wanting to, I guess, promote more that they're LGBTQ friendly, because that is something that I feel like is a struggle for a lot of folks.
They do find a cute workaround for it, because he's like, I do want to do this, because it was, he knows that there are difficulties, like he experienced that, he knows friends that have experienced that, and he just doesn't want to out himself, and he's afraid if they only advertise that, that it's going to out him. And his boyfriend comes up with the idea, well, I also know like elderly people that have difficulties and people with disabilities that have difficulties finding apartments.
Doing a wider arch.
Yeah, so they advertise it. They eventually put out a little flyer, and it does have like, I'm assuming it's a rainbow flag. It was in black and white. But they have a little flyer that's got like a little rainbow flag on it and somebody, like an elderly person on it and stuff. And they're like, oh, these are all, like, we can specialize by helping. Yeah, we can help everyone. And it was very cute. And he does, at one point, he's worried that his underling is like too lacking of knowledge of the community. So he finds this training to send her to. And it's done by the community, and she comes back to him and she's like, I learned so much, like I even got put in my place by somebody. It was a great day.
Oh my gosh. Love
And the
that.
story of her getting put in her place was really funny. But it was like, he's like, okay, I feel better about sending you there because now you're learning and you can bring this back with us, and I don't have to be the one to tell you everything. It was, I liked it. It was cute.
So wait, did you read one volume? Because I feel like
That's a lot to happen in one
that's what I'm
volume.
getting. I was like, that was a lot
Yeah.
to have happened in a single. Like, you're like, oh, they did this and they adopted a dog and then they changed their marketing strategy and then.
It's not a 4-panel either. It's a regular panel style manga, and a lot happens.
We love a busy, not a slow burn.
Yeah.
I will say, my main takeaway from this was I really hope my boss in her private life calls me her underling. I hope that's what she's
I could have
see
seen
that. I
a
could see that.
subordinate. Is that the word I
That's
want?
probably the right
Subordinate?
word, yeah. But we went with
Associate?
underling, so.
Well, we were talking about
Coworker.
villainesses first, and then I was like, underlings.
Underling.
I love the word underling. That's not sarcasm. That's what I love for next time. I love when my boss calls me an underling.
Okay, I'm gonna hop into my next choice, which is Ladies on Top.
Oh, wow.
That's
a title.
That is a title.
I stumbled upon this in a Barnes and Noble, and it was one of those ones where I'm like, is it a joke? But then I pick it up and it's like the cutest shit I've ever read. I mean, there is the obvious like implication as to like what's going on here. I'll read the back because I mean, I guess I could synopsize it myself, but here I'll hold this up while I read the back. So Mitsuki looks like an ordinary office lady, cute, quiet, and looking for Mr. Right. But while she yearns for love, traditional romances where men take the lead just leave her cold. Honestly, that's an understatement. They give her the ick. Like, whenever a guy, like, tries to be forward with her or, like, take the lead, she's like, no thank you.
Good for-
Immediately dry, turned off. I want nothing to do with that.
Right? Stop.
Girl knows what she wants.
Right.
Sahara Desert.
Okay, so Mitsuki discovers Shinomiya, a seemingly perfect coworker who likes aggressive women, and she experiences a fiery awakening. Together, they learn that reversing traditional gender roles can be both liberating and exciting.
That's fun. I like
And
that.
so they both like learn because they both like don't really realize like how into like this traditional role reversal they are. And so they like learn together to kind of like work through what works for them, and like he's like originally like ashamed that he is so aroused by, I don't want to say being dominated, but it's just like not having like the primary role. And like same thing with her where she's like always nervous when she gets a new boyfriend because she's like, oh no, is there something wrong with me? Like, why do I like want to always push them away? And then like she kind of like takes the lead and she's like, oh, I like this. And then like he's blushing and she's like, blushing. Like she literally like lick her lips at him, and I'm just like, girl. But I have read, there's 6 total. It is finished. I've read through the 4th one, and they like it took to the 4th one for them to finally have like done the deed. So like even though it's like a very promiscuous title, I mean it says parental advisory, but it's more of like fan service. I won't even say fan service because there's not like jiggle physics or anything. There's like butt cheeks. There's butt cheeks in this one. So it's parental advisory warning, but just for butt cheeks because they don't actually do it until, like I said, the 4th one.
It's interesting to put, because I was going to ask, is it too spicy for me to read?
I honestly don't think so.
Wow. Because the title would, if I saw that in the store, I'd go, oh, I'm embarrassed, and I would put it right back.
Yeah.
So that's actually very interesting.
Yes. So, because I picked up thinking it was going to be like, but like the only one that's wrapped, I think, is the 3rd one. So the fact that it says parental advisory, I don't know. It's 7 C's. It is older teen, if that is an indicator to you that the spice level, even though there is
mature, so
it just says parental advisory, and then that's the rating. So you can see on the front, like I said, she's literally licking her lips. You probably can't see it, but there it is. She's like, and then he's like a little blushing baby girl princess style. So I have the full series. If you do want to try it, Doki, let me know, because got 2 more to go, and then I'll be done with this one. But it's really good. I saw it, and I'm like, I have to read that.
So how many is that one in total?
6.
And are they all out?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
That's good to
Yeah,
know.
I was surprised that I hadn't like ever seen it
Yeah, I haven't
because
heard of that
it's
one.
it's rare that I come across something where I'm like, ooh, that looks good, and then like the whole series is already finished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up when it came out, but in the meantime,
I'll have
Doki, you're
to
up.
look. I have one that I got recently that feels like the PG version of that. I
Oh,
can't remember the name of it. I haven't read it yet. I was gonna read it for today, but I just didn't get to it. But it's something like The Girl I Like is a Prince or something like that. But it
Interesting.
feels like the like PG version of what
Mhm.
you just described. Where like she's always like, "Ooh, you look cold. Here's my jacket," and he's like blushing, and he's like, "No, but it's more that he's supposed to woo her, and he's like, "No, why am I so into her wooing me?"
Yeah.
So that's such
No,
a
that's
cute
that's
trope.
that's the same vibe. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cute.
yeah.
Going off of that, what I have for you today is The Girl I Want is so handsome. It's
I've
great.
seen this one. It looks so cute.
It's so cute. I was actually gonna say, Valsaraptor, you'll want to read this. This
I
is
do. I have.
very-
It's on my list.
It's very cheeky brat. It gives a Yuri cheeky brat vibe. This is the whole thing. This is the whole series.
Oh
It's
my God.
finished. That's the whole kit and caboodle.
The whole
Is
bit.
that like an omnibus or is that just...
It says I guess so. I don't know. It says the complete manga collection.
Okay.
So I guess so.
All right.
I don't know. It to me read as just like one thing. I didn't feel like I was reading a bunch of volumes. It felt very well pieced together. So I don't know if it originally came out separately or if it always came out like this. But it's so cute. So it follows her. She's a freshman. Her name's Hina, I believe. And she has a huge crush on our leading lady here, who's like a basketball player and
Oh,
just
cool.
like too cool for school.
Okay, so like
And
literally cheeky bread.
It is literally Yuri Cheeky Brat. Verbatim, like the same story. And so basically, like the first day that she goes to talk to her, they have a miscommunication, and she thinks that she's confessing her love. And she's not. She's asking her to join the basketball team. And so she shows up, and she's like, oh no, because she is the least coordinated human being. She gets like bammed in the head with a basketball. Other people are like,
Relatable
go
content.
home.
Relatable
Why are
content.
you here? Truly. And so she ends up becoming the team's manager
Oh, that's good.
to try to get closer to her. And it just, there's so many like traditional cutie like high school hijinks that ensue.
I love that.
It's really sweet. It's good fluff. It's good fluff piece. It's cheeky brat.
Yeah. So read this if you loved cheeky brat.
Definitely read this if you love cheeky brat. It's very similar manga.
Throw that in the next manga exchange pile because I'm reading it.
Oh heck yeah, I got you. They're such sweet angels.
You give me that and then I'll give you ladies on top.
I want the other one. I want the first one you read.
You
I want
get
the
both.
reincarnation.
You get both.
First this, then that.
Much
Honestly,
to Zach's dismay.
I was about to say, my whole closet is just manga that you have provided to me that I am being forced to read whether I want to or not. I want to. But
Spoilers.
spoilers. But no, it's super cute, super wholesome. Very sweet.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
All right, T, what you got next?
So I read another one on Hoopla. All mine were Hoopla. Shout out library. This one's called At 30, I Realized I Had No Gender.
Oh, I've seen that one in Barnes as well. It's
So
like
this
a newer
one's-
one, isn't it?
Yeah, this one came out in 2023.
Nice.
So the author was born female, and like they say, at age 30, they realized they don't really have a gender, but they do use he, him pronouns, and they lean more male presenting.
Okay.
They do have a boyfriend in the manga, and this was a little different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be kind of like an autobiography done in a manga,
Yeah.
and it was more like I think they write other things and they kind of like put their life in it that way, and this was kind of just like answering questions and having other people that have lived this experience kind of put their 2 cents in. Yeah. So it wasn't strictly just the author speaking on their experiences. Like his boyfriend kind of gives commentary because his boyfriend is a cis man, but he is more feminine looking, and his whole life has been mistaken for a woman. And it doesn't really bother him because he does lean more feminine presenting, but he does identify as a male. So it's just kind of like little anecdotes and stories from people. There are sometimes naked parts, but not anything in an super explicit way.
Right.
It's just like trying to explain a scenario kind of thing.
Got it.
Okay.
It was also, I really liked that, again, you're able to see the LGBT plus experience through the Japanese eyes.
Yeah.
Because their whole thing is you want to conform to society. So there's one discussion where an older person who is a male to female transgender person is trying to figure out, like, how can I present as like a really cute girl? Like, I want to look cute, I want to feel cute. And the author is trying to help them, like, well, because, like, they don't say this directly, but like I picked up the vibe, like, because of the Japanese culture and everything, they're like, well, maybe you can't be like super cutie, but you can be like feminine in this way. Like, think about if you had been born as a woman and grew up as a woman, how would you have presented? Because that's kind of what I try to do as a man. Like, when I feel like presenting masculine, I kind of think, okay, I would probably look like my dad, so I'm gonna catch the vibe of my dad.
Vibes.
Yeah. It was interesting. I don't. It's only one volume. It kind of dragged on for a while for me. Like, I had a hard time finishing it. It was just like, it was kind of scattered because it wasn't their life story. It was like anecdotes from them, their boyfriend, other people in their lives. Like, they even had a fan question thing. It was a bit all over the place, and it was a 4-panel. So sometimes those are like really easy for me to read, and sometimes it's like, oh gosh, this is just too many things at once. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
If this,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, if this is something that you're interested in, I recommend it. If you're not super into that style of presentation, like, I went into it thinking, like I said, I thought it was going to be an autobiography, and it was not. And I was really looking forward to an autobiography.
That's fair. It is nice, though, that I feel like a lot of, at least manga I've encountered that is LGBTQ plus is very like this, right?
Yeah.
And so it is nice to hear that, like, there's manga coming out that tells so many more complex stories about people and different, like, just because there's obviously more people in the world than just straight and gay. So it's really nice to see that there are more complex stories coming out, at least.
And it does kind of touch on his life before he came out and a little bit of his process of coming out.
Yeah.
So that was also really interesting to hear. And if anyone is interested, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Crunchyroll, Books A Million, and Indigo. It's from Tokyo Pop. Sorry, I have to keep adjusting my chair. I need a new chair. This thing just keeps sinking, and I notice, like, my eye level is like...
Oh no! There we go. Okay. I've read so many good things recently. I wanted to talk about the one that I recently lent you, Doki, with the autistic coded one and like the super bubbly girl. That one was precious, but we'll save that one for another day because I like to hold up the manga that I'm talking about while we're like doing it in case anyone hops on the live.
Yeah, it's in my living room right now, so unfortunately,
No, you're good. Okay. So, I'm gonna talk about this one. So this one's called Let's Do It Already.
Oh, so cute.
You got the scandalous titles.
No.
It's just a title thing. Like, this
so
is
cute.
This is the cutest shit ever. Okay. Ironically, so this is hetero, but the main character's name is Yuri.
That doesn't make it Yuri.
But it's not Yuri, but her name is Yuri. So this is a Viz Media. It's rated older teen, but honestly, this is less spicy than this one. Both of these older teen. So you have this like super bubbly, cutie, precious girl who falls in love with this very cold seeming autistic coded teenage boy. So I'll read the back because it probably does a better job of explaining exactly what we're getting into. But it says, okay, so free-spirited Yuri and straight-laced Katsuragi have fallen in love, but his elite political family, producing a line of prime ministers, does not allow male descendants to engage in any sexual relations until they are 18. Now it says sexual relations, but like they're not even allowed to touch.
Oh, wow.
They are not allowed to hold hands. Like, honestly, being alone together, completely forbidden. So can the physically affectionate Yuri and rule-abiding, her boyfriend keep their relationship, like, strict and by the books? They've gotten to know each other. They commute together. She confesses, and he feels the same. And when she goes to kiss him, he's like, pump the brakes, like, so you can see her, he's like, no, we don't do that. But it's when I say autistic coded, I mean that with the utmost respect as someone who is also on the spectrum, right? But like he's so rule followy that he's like, oh, instead of breaking the rules, I'm gonna find loopholes in like how literal the rules are. And then I'm going to like write this like formal petition to my family so that I can ask for a cell phone so that we can talk on the phone.
Oh.
But then like once he gets a phone, he's never had one before. He goes completely off the rails, and he's like on the phone all the time. He's not sleeping. His grades are going down. He goes, okay, so now I need to write a rule for myself for how frequently I'm allowed to use my phone so that then I'll follow the rules so I don't overuse my phone. So it says, they can't touch or anything until they're 18. So then he's like trying to find loopholes because it's like based on like when they were born versus like some other conception of like how old they are. So he's like, okay, well then maybe when I turn 17, because if it's based on conception instead of actual birth, then I'll be 17 sooner. Then we can touch, like hold hands sooner. So he's like trying to find all these like loopholes so that he can still follow the rules. Meanwhile, she's like wondering like, oh, does he actually like me? And he's like, yes, obviously I just can't tell you that because I'm being watched constantly. And so like he tries to steal her away to give her, reassurance, but then like it kind of ends with them being bodyguards. Like literal bodyguards. It kind of ends with them being like big time caught because like he's like they're in one of his limousines and he's like, oh, I know where the blind spot is for the various cameras in this limo. Like to kind of like steal a hand touch, and then they get caught, and that's how it ends. And I think the second one was recently printed, so I have to obtain it.
Go get it.
I want to read
Leave
that.
this recording. Go get it.
So this is super precious, and I'm obsessed. But I also am biased for any autistically coded character. So
I'm a sucker for a slow burn, and that sounds like.
Forced
like
slow burn.
Yeah, slow. That was the word I was looking for. A forced slow burn. I'm like, give me that. I'll eat this shit like breakfast.
Which I think you said was 2 donuts today.
It was 2 donuts.
What?
That was her breakfast.
That's not fair. Mine was this coffee. That's not donuts.
Mine was 2 leftover pancakes from yesterday.
You guys are both rude. That's my takeaway from today. No one shares.
You're a bit far for that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
RIP.
Alright. This one was chosen strategically because it has come to my attention and TikTok's attention. The Valsaraptor is uneducated in the ways of weighing. Because weighing would have a Brat Summer. And I am so disappointed. So today
I was called out so hard.
I loved it. I was so happy because I hadn't seen the post yet, so that was me first seeing the post.
Oh my god!
Was seeing that comment, and I was
god.
like, if I had known,
that's
I would have.
So funny.
So today I'm talking about the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, which is an anime, a book series, a manhwa. It's whatever you want it to be.
It's a Brat Summer.
He is the definition of Brat Summer.
No.
Well, but now they have it out in manhwa, and it's fully colored, very pretty, very nice animation style.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so I feel like what's nice about because these are pretty well known. Like a lot of people know what they are. They have a pretty big fan following. Like everything, all of these, all the Danmes. But what's really nice about this versus the books, I feel like, is, for example, like we've talked before about how complicated names can be. And with like a lot of Chinese manhwa and danme and stuff, they have 2 sets of names, and the names are very long for one of the sets of names, and there are a lot of people with names. There's usually like, you know, war and cultivation and a lot of people in the stories. And so while I love the books because they provide just like tons of depth, these are a lot more bite-sized and easier to follow and a lot less complicated. But basically, the story follows Wei Ying and Lan Zhan, who are obviously in love. I mean, look at them. How could they not be? But basically, so it follows them in Wei Ying in his first life goes down a dark road of dark cultivation, and Lan Zhan is like this annoying guy who just gets on his nerves and is very like rule following, whereas Wei Ying is like a party boy and just wants to have a good time. And then things go bad, he goes bad, and then he dies. And then someone re-brings his spirit back into this new body, and Lan Zhan, like, immediately is like, are you Wei Ying? And then, basically, they, like, start traveling together and, like, trying to solve these, like, mysteries and fix some stuff and get to know each other better and find out that they misunderstood each other the whole time.
Aww.
The whole time.
Time.
It gives you a little bit of everything, because there's spooky stuff, there's, like, ghosts and stuff, there's, you know, cultivation magic, there's a lot of war and fighting and beating people up, there's boys without shirts on, well, men, not boys, but you get what I mean. There's guys. It's got everything. It's cutie.
And
You
Brad
should read it.
Summers.
There's Brat Summers, Brat Winters. They skipped all the other seasons. There's only Brat Summer. But no, it's really good. These are really, I think, very complex stories. And even though the manhwa does make it a lot more, like, easy to consume than some of the books, easy to, you know, eat up, they are still really deep. And they're also very slow burns. Like, in the books, I don't even think there's any physical intimacy until, like true physical intimacy until, like, the 3rd book.
Oh,
I was
wow.
gonna say, I
And
was
there's no
surprised.
spicy scenes until the final book.
Oh, wow.
And there's, like, I think for this series, there's somewhere between 6 and 8 books. And there's only there's only, like, 1 or 2 spicy scenes, and they're all in the last book. And that's how pretty much all of these are. Like, they'll have, like, little hints of things throughout the books, but the final showdown is always in the last book. So they are very slow burns, which I love, because once they admit that they love each other, I don't care anymore. So I like that they just save it for the end.
I feel that. I also like the I can clock you at any lifetime. Like, oh,
No,
you're really anal about this? You must be this guy.
no, that's really how he is. He's like, there's only one person. He doesn't say this, but the vibe it gives is like, there's only one person who could be this obnoxious and annoying. You must be the man I was in love with. Obviously. No way.
Okay, so it's funny you say that because, like, going back to this, like, there's several instances where he is, like, talking to the girl after she, you know, as an adult and a different body and everything. And he's like, why does she remind me so much of my first love? This is so... And then he's, like, feeling guilty because he's like, no, I'm dishonoring my first love by even saying that she's close.
These are the same book. This is the same media. If you like that...
Do they die in a car crash going to an amusement park too?
Totally. You know they had those in medieval China.
That's so Brat Summer of them.
Okay, so the heading to the amusement park bit was actually so sad because the kid, like, the
You
boy...
think?
Okay, the boy was, like, his mom, like, promised him, like, we'll go to the amusement park on your birthday, and then she died, and then, like...
On his birthday.
On the way to the amusement park?
No, like, maybe like a week before or something, and so like
okay.
he was like, oh, like I'm not gonna get to, and he's like, you know what, it's fine, to honor my mom, I'm gonna go to the amusement park. And then the girl was like, well, don't go by yourself, like I'll go with you. And then he feels bad because he like basically begged her to go to the amusement park after his mom died, and then she died because of it.
Oh,
And
God,
so
the
like
trauma.
he
This poor
internalizes
guy.
it so much. So I mean, like it was
Yeah.
like, it's a lot.
That
I
is
would too,
traumatic.
golly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, T, what's your next read?
Anyway,
What do you got?
so plot twist. After our last discussion, I was like, I gotta keep reading this one. I gotta give it a second chance.
Yes.
So I did read the second volume of Yuri Espar. How do you guys?
SBR.
SBR.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do
So
you
it
think?
does
Did you love it?
continue with I did like this volume more. I will say I did like this volume more.
Yes, redemption.
Because okay, so they still continue with the whole like she's gonna like make this Yuri book to look back on when she's married to a
The
man.
pink-haired one, right?
Yes, Kokoro.
If
Yeah,
you
sorry,
say
I
the
have like
pink-haired one, we'll just
pink-haired one who kind of looks like Chi from Chobits sometimes in this book. Like they really were like Chi coded. So pink-haired girl is still engaged to this man to be married after she graduates high school, and she's still writing and drawing this Yuri collection with her bestie. And the girl who confessed her love to her, she kind of like this. A slight spoiler, I guess. It happens in the first few pages of this volume. But pink-haired girl turns her down and is like, look, I'm engaged to get married when we graduate. I don't want to lead you on and make you think this is going to go anywhere. And she's like, oh, that's fine. I am too. Isn't that like a normal thing if that happens to people? Like, come on, why don't we have fun while we're in high school? And she's like, girl, no. Like, I don't want to do that to myself. So the girl who confessed to her plot line now is I'm going to get so close to this pink-haired girl that she just has to like me and we're going to date and she's going to like it. And
She's gonna like it.
And she's going to like it. And the best friend is like obviously picking up the vibes that this girl is trying to go after her girl and she does not like her. And the pink-haired girl is just so overwhelmed. She's like, why are you trying to join art club? Can you please leave me alone? Like, I just want peace. So that plot is still going on. But what I did like about this volume, they kind of humanize. You see more of her fiance. And obviously, like, you're rooting for this girl. She wants to be with a girl, but you're starting to like feel bad for the fiance guy in a way because he's like, he actually seems like he cares about her. He's like, oh, my goal in life is just to make her happy. Like, I just want to do things that'll make her happy. I'm like planning out our future. Like, I'm looking for a house. We're not going to live in an apartment. I'm going to find us a house. And he seems like a genuinely nice guy. It's just a shitty situation for her. So you kind of see more of him in this one, and I did like that. And also you kind of get like a weird vibe from her dad. Like she's getting flashbacks of something and they don't really elaborate on it, so I'm really interested in that. And she doesn't have a mom from what I can tell, so there's not really another parental figure who can be like at one point she decides, you know what, I'm gonna talk to my dad and be like, can we push off the engagement? Like, maybe can I go to college and then get married? And her dad is so busy that like she's talking to one of their housemaids and she's like, hey, have you seen dad? Do you know when he's coming home? And she's like, oh, he's home right now. And he's like literally getting ready to leave. So she's running to his room trying to catch him to talk to him. And her dad is kind of like, I don't want to say dismissive, but he's like, hey, I got to go do this business thing. What did you want to talk to me about? And she's like, oh, it's not really important anymore. We can talk the next time you're home. And he's like, I won't be home for a while. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so I liked this volume because it definitely expanded the world, it expanded the characters, and it didn't have like any weird creepy scenes where her best friend wakes up in her shrine dedicated to her.
I like the shrine, more shrine, more
Which
shrine.
I think like that would have been better, I think, in this volume. I would have liked it if they had done it in this volume.
If they had developed the character first.
Yeah, if there had
and
been
then
more
we found
character.
out.
Yeah, I would have liked that more in this one. So it's growing on me. I'm going to try to read the third volume. And what I'm looking at online, it looks like there's only 4 volumes.
That's
I'm
what
not
I read after we
more.
reviewed it last time. I was like looking it up and I only saw 4.
But if you want to read it, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Crunchyroll, Books A Million, Indigo, and IndieBound.
And your
I'm so
local
nervous.
library.
And your local library. Use Hoopla.
I'm so nervous to read this one because I have this, like, gut fear that it's gonna be one of those ones where we're like, oh, this is so cute, so complex, and then it ends and she's like, just kidding, I'm straight now, this is fine.
I know, that's
So
what I'm
That's my one fear with it, is that at the end she's gonna be like, oh, I was just young and mistaken and I should end up with this man because he's nice to me. And that's my one nervous thing.
I'm kind of thinking it won't, because the stories,
Okay.
if you don't recall, the stories, she makes up stories about these women that she puts in her book, and then you get to see their actual lives and get to see who they are as people. And there's a couple times where it's like legitimate adult lesbians or people who are interested in women and things like that. So I don't think they're gonna do that, but there's not even a hint that she might be bisexual. She likes women, she wants women. So I don't know if maybe eventually she'll just be like, oh, I like this one man, I guess. But it's like, does she like this man legitimately, or is she just saying that because she has to marry him? You know, like, I don't know where it's gonna go. I do have that fear in the back of my mind as I'm getting further. I'm like halfway through this series now.
It's just, I feel like, been too much media that's done it. So it's like, even when the story, like, is clearly not leading me that way, that's just, it always sits in the back of my head where I'm like, are they just friends?
I'm also slightly worried. No, excuse me, not slightly worried. I'm less worried because this did come out in 2022, so it is more modern.
It's newer.
Yeah, so there might be a chance that it does not plot twist me at the end, and I'm like, damn it.
I feel like it's more likely to not plot twist you if it's newer.
I'm just interested to see how it ends up, because she really does not want to be with this man, and he just seems like very, like, now that I know more about him, he seems like a pleasant guy, but like,
what about the teacher? What about the teacher that's crushing on the fiance?
Yeah. Oh, they hang out. That's where you get to see more of the fiance. The teacher and him live together.
God, I can't.
They live together in a house, and the teacher's like, hey, I can move out, and you can have my house, and I'll go live in an apartment. And he's like, no, dude, I'm not getting us an apartment, and you can keep your house. I'm gonna buy us our own house. I'm gonna provide for this woman.
There's obviously only one way the story can end. The teacher and the fiance.
That's what I want so bad.
And shrine friend in pink hair.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want. And I'm like, please let it happen. I want everyone happy in their own way.
Do you think she'll keep the shrine? Like, if they get...
I hope so. In like a Helga Pataki kind of way, like it's in her closet. She like hides it, and then one day pink-haired girl finds it and she's like, would you like to explain this? No, I would not. Closes door.
No, I would not. Honestly, I'm here for it. I gotta tell you, I was pretty disappointed. I haven't found any Kelsey or any DokiDokiBunBun shrines in my fiance's house. Pretty disappointed.
See, I was the Helga Pataki of the relationship when we were in high school. I had my husband's entire class schedule memorized before we were even dating. I knew where he was at all times.
That's normal.
Because that's healthy!
It's normal.
Teenager is healthy. None of them.
Right before we started dating, I went to the Renaissance Festival, and I bought a love spell, which was just like red glitter in a jar. But we were both in band together, and I threw some at him, and then 2 weeks later, we started dating, and we are married and have 2 children. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I gotta go to a Ren fair to see a witch about a love spell.
Don't let your dreams be dreams, kids. Stalk them hard enough, and they'll love you. Please don't actually do that.
Oh my God.
The worst part is I would do that to my fiance now. I would just throw some glitter in his face and be like, do you love me more now? Did it work?
He's like, Maggie's just throwing glitter in the house.
You got it in my eye.
He'd be like, it's fine. The house is getting ripped apart for renovations anyways. Go wild.
Throw as much glitter as you want, babe.
This is your time to shine.
Make it rain.
He'd just be worried I'd yell at him later and be like, "Where is this? Who left glitter on your clothes? This isn't mine." He'd be like, "What are you talking about?" That would be his first thought.
And that was my last one. I only read 4. By the way, fun fact.
So I have a 4th one, and I know Doki has a 4th one. But then I really want to talk about this other one. So I'm going to talk about this one quickly because it's just like cute and small. And then we'll do Doki's fourth. And then we're going to circle back to one because I did read a manga that I hated recently. And I just want to talk about it.
Please.
I made a TikTok about it. But like I want to talk with you guys about it. But anyway, I'm going to do this one first because this one.
Yeah.
Failed Princesses.
Okay.
Cutie.
It's not actual princesses. They're just high school girls. I feel like I had to like lead with that so that Doki wouldn't get her hopes up. So basically,
You almost princess trapped her.
I know. What's it? So how do you pronounce in Japanese where like, they're like a gal? Is it garu or how do you pronounce that? Is it garu?
That's
Okay.
what I've always been under the impression it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it has the same kind of accent on it that like Toru does.
Okay.
It has that like rolling R, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically there's this Garu girl and her boyfriend breaks up with her in like a very embarrassing way and none of her friends are consoling her and then there's this like little nerdy girl who like reluctantly is like helping her and then but the Garu girl, her whole premise is like, I am a princess. I am the cutest and bestest princess that there ever was and that there ever will be. But then, like, this other girl helps her and she's like, well, like, you could probably be, like, a cute princess too. I'm like, I'm still the cutest one, but, like, let me, like, pluck your eyebrows for you. But then the other girl's like, well, you can't hang around me because then your friends won't want to hang around you. And you can't hang around me because then my friends won't want to hang out around me anymore. And the Garu girl's like, I don't care. Like, you were very nice to me when I was very sad. Like, we are friends now.
Aww.
And so their friends do, like, completely abandon them. So the other girl's like, I guess we're stuck together. And then the Garu girl's like, yay, this is my plan all along. But to the point where this girl's like, you stick out too much. Like, I just want to lay in the shadows. And then she's like, no problem. I'll just dye my hair black again so that I blend in more. But then she gets to school and everyone's like, oh my God, the black hair looks so good on you. And then this girl's like, see, like, you can't not stand out. And she's like, but I'm trying because I want to be friends with you so bad. And so she, like, continues to make, like, little tweaks to, like, her appearance as, like, I don't know, like, a thank you for, like, being there for her while she was going through that breakup. But then at the end, you can see she's like, oh, could she really be that cute? And we're like, you see, it's like, oh, there's more than them just being like cutie little friends helping each other. And so that's where the first volume ends. And so I'm like,
Aw.
precious.
Neat.
Also, we stand girls who stick
Yeah.
together. Like,
yes.
forget those other girls. Gross.
Those friends they sucked. They were lame.
They
not
were, because they were
friends.
like, ew, you're hanging out with that nerd. And she's like, she's also my friend. And they were like, this is a joke, right? And she's like, no, like, we're legit, like, friends. Oh, the Garu girl, her brother is, like, a hairstylist. So she takes the nerdy girl to her, like, brother to get her hair done. And so then, like, this is the nerdy girl after she gets, like, her hair done. And then she's
Aw.
like, oh, shit, she's so fucking cute. Oh, my God.
So fucking cute.
Am I about to be out cutied?
Yeah, so, like, she's, like, having that moment, but then also, like, she's into it.
Yeah.
Ooh yeah, out cutie me, bitch.
Yeah, she's like, let's go.
Please
So-
out cutie me.
I found this in my husband's TBR, and it's mine now.
He got it for you, obviously. He was just
He
holding
just
on to
forgot
it.
to, like, give it to me. Yeah.
Honestly, that sounds like him.
Yeah.
It
This
checks
is
out.
not the first one, because the other one that I was going to talk about, I also found in my husband's TBR, and it's my dad's the queen of all VTubers, but that one's for another day.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Doki, what's your last one?
Alright, this one is probably a romance, but I'm 4 in, and romance hasn't really started. There's just been, like, hints of it.
Okay.
This is also another, like, webcomic that became
A print.
a graphic novel. Look how pretty, though.
It's
That's
so pretty.
gorge. I like the gold detailing on the front. That's
Mhm.
pretty.
Super pretty. Please bear with me. I've tried to figure out how to say this word, and I can't. So it's a stepmother's Martian? Unsure.
A Martian.
That's a
got it.
word
I
for
can't-
sure. A stepmother's Martian.
I can't read.
That checks out. Cause she's a Americaness, Marchioness, fancy lady.
We're moving on.
Fancy lady with money. So this is, you'll never believe it, another reincarnation story.
Plot twist.
Who would have guessed?
With a slight villainess twist. This one's cool though. This one's different, I swear.
Yeah, okay.
This one's totally different than all the other ones. So this one's neat. So it's about a girl who, she was like 14, and she was living very like the poor commoner type lifestyle with her abusive family. And this man shows up, looks at her, and is like, I'm wifing you up. And he's like this older man with 4 kids, the youngest one, or the oldest one being 2 years younger than her. And so she comes into this home, and I will give a slight spoiler here just because I think it will positively impact people wanting to read the story. Nothing intimate ever happens between the old man and the wife girl.
Okay.
I hate to spoil it, but I feel like it's needed because it changed my interpretation of the story very positively when I found out. So nothing intimate happens between them. It's a contractual thing, right?
That's nice.
Yes. But so basically, so she comes into this house and she does her best to like be a mom, but the kids are menaces. They call her fake mother and like are really mean to her and all this stuff. It's very sad. And then she dies and is reborn back time travel wise, right? Brought back. And so she comes back and she's like, I'm gonna do different. I want to have a good relationship with these kids. I don't want to die, like, thinking that they don't love me and having a bad relationship. I'm older now, I'm wiser. And so it goes through, but so, while there's hints of love, this story is very much about her relationship with these children who are basically her age, but she views as her kids. And, like,
So
it's really sweet, and it's very dark in some ways. She's like a very stereotypical, like, meek lady becomes like badass political woman on the move. But there's a lot of like her sacrificing for these kids, and through all of this, the kids like in her new life like call her mother, for example. They're not calling her fake mother anymore, and they're like truly developing a relationship with her.
Yeah.
And I have not been able to put it down. I bought the first one.
Can you hold it up like while we're talking about it so people can see?
I bought the first one, I went back to the store the next day to buy the second one, went back to the store the next day to buy every single one that they had, because I couldn't stop, and they're thick boys, like, they're all this, and they're just absolutely beautiful. The story's really good. Same story, different face, but, like, very different because we're getting such different relationships that we're delving into and growing off of. And like I said, I'm 4 in, and there's not any real... There's hints at a romance, but no real romance yet. It's very much... We didn't even, like, really learn much about anyone but her until the second one. Like, they fully set a character up. Like, they truly developed our main character, and we're just like, she's a lady, and she's looking for a boy. They're like, no, look at this lady. She went through trauma, and
she's
now her
whole
life
person.
is lovely.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I love that.
It's really nice. It's really good. There's 5 out, or 4 out.
You said, is it a webcomic turned graphic novel?
I am pretty sure it is.
It'll usually say on the back, so like mine here will say, like, it's got this little webtoon logo whenever it's...
Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just always been a graphic novel. Because it just says 7 Seas. The writer, though, their name is Spice and Kitty. And I'm pretty glad I didn't think of that before, because that's adorable.
I love that name.
Oh.
Let me get the...
No, it does say contains webtoon chapters.
Oh, okay.
So, it is a webtoon.
So I looked up how to say that word.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to butcher it. It's Märchen. It's a German word that means, like, new tale or fairy tale.
Aww. I'll never be able to say that. But that makes sense, because there is an accent over the A.
Yeah.
So that does check out. But yeah, go read it. do it.
That does look really
I
cute.
dare you. It's really cute.
Gonna add a couple of these to my TBR. The
Heck
never-ending TBR.
It's overwhelming, honestly.
These chats definitely don't help with the TBR.
In addition to, like, the novels style books that I read, you know, like, all right, now I'm gonna add these manga to this one, and then I have to add these books to this one, like...
I mean, it's been months since I read, like, a book club book, because I am truly overwhelmed by the media I must consume.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I live in the audiobook realm, because then if I need to, like, do stuff, I'm like, boom, audiobook time. If I've got free time, that's manga time.
I'm so jealous. I simply cannot. I hear words, and afterwards I'm like, I think they mentioned mashed potatoes once in that story. Like, that's all I walk away with.
Yeah.
All right, Valsaraptor, what is your last book that you hated?
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, so I'm gonna run and grab it. And you guys will have to entertain the chat, because I disliked it so much that instead of storing it in the, like, cannot be seen part of my shelves, which is where I originally thought that I had it, I actually I do have it in my return to store to no longer have in my home pile. That's how much I did not like this manga. So entertain the chat. I'll be right back because I have to grab it.
Hi, chat.
Hi, chat. I have one like that too, but mine was because it was too spicy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I picked one up, and I don't remember the name of it. It is wrapped, though, for everyone. I just didn't process that when I got it. So you won't accidentally pick it up like me, probably. But I was in a hurry, and I was like, oh, look, a cute villainess story. Oh, no, I gotta go. Whatever, I'll just get it.
Yeah.
And I assumed it would be wrapped because of, like, blood. Like, I was like, oh, I bet there's just a lot of fighting. And I open it up on an airplane.
Oh, no.
I know the story.
It was not wrapped for good reasons, so it is also in my return to the store pile.
What happens when you buy a wrapped book and have to return it? I assume they just rewrap it in store?
I don't know, I just hope they take it because I don't want it in my home.
You want that filth in your home.
I am so afraid my son will find it and be like, oh look, new manga.
Get this out of my good, wholesome Minecraft server.
Alright, I'm gonna start by saying, look at how cute and innocent the front of this manga is.
And what's the
Really
title?
cute.
I can't see it very well.
She
I
likes
apologize.
gays, but not me.
I don't love that, but
I don't
okay.
like that.
So, yeah, I really did not like this. I read the whole thing in hopes that it would get better, and it
It's better
just
for you.
got worse. So basically, so this guy, he's gay, obviously.
Yeah.
This girl, they go to the same school. They meet one day, like they run into each other at a manga store. He catches her buying BL. She's a fujoshi.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like out of breath because I ran down my stairs to get this. And she's like, please don't tell people. You probably think it's weird. You probably hate me. And he's like, I really just don't care what you do.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you're not like put off by the fact that I read BL? And he's like, you know, whatever. And he's like, but how do you feel about actual gay people? And she was like, well, I don't really know any gay people, and like people, you know, like it's just not something, like it's not very common. And she like kind of like puts it off, and he's like, oh, okay. So then he like doesn't out himself to her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
like one part that's like icky, because that's like a reoccurring theme where he keeps like trying to bring it up and she's just simply like, no. And then of course she falls for him, and so he's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this like side story with the main character where like there's two people he met online. One person he met online is this older dude. He's a gay man, but he's married with a wife and kids. But then like he tells us that he, like the main character guy tells us that he feels like this older gentleman is fetishizing him as his son while they hook up.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's bad.
Wait, so everyone's cheating on everyone, and there's like incest fetish.
Yeah, and so like that's
Fetishing.
happening. Meanwhile, he is having an online conversation with like another like gay man, and then they like talk about Queen together because the guy is like, oh, I have AIDS, and I got it from my partner. My partner recently passed away from it.
Mhm.
And then he's like, this is like the only kind of like pseudo healthy relationship in the whole manga. But basically, it kind of ends with the guy that he's chatting with online being like, you know, in another life, maybe we could have been together. I do love you, but I'm gonna go not be in this world anymore.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
So, but
This creates such an unhealthy, like,
yeah, and so then
view
this guy is
of-
like, he ends up agreeing to date this girl because she's like madly in love with him because she doesn't hate him, or he doesn't hate her for being a fujoshi. But then like she keeps trying to hook up with him and he's like not into women, and then she gets like
Yeah.
personally offended. But he's like, well, maybe, you know, the older guy that I'm hooking up with, like he has a wife and kids. He's like, how am I going to carry on my line unless I do end up with a woman? But then I can always hook up with people on the side too, so that I can still like be like my true gay person that I am. Like this, it's just so toxic and terrible, and I hate
Yeah.
it so much.
Ew.
I kept hoping it would get better, and it just kept getting worse.
Oh my gosh, that's
It was
it sounds like
awful.
it was taking a sharp left turn and then it just continued to take a sharp left turn into a ravine.
Yeah.
That's a big no.
Like there
That's
was
horrific.
zero part of this that was good.
Well, I
That's a
think
big
what's-
yike.
Yeah, I think what gives me the ick is that one, not only is it a story that like only focuses on hyper-toxic relationships, but like I said, it also paints like the gay community as something
Yeah.
gross and toxic and like
Bunch
Mhm.
of cheating going on in this.
yeah, a lot of yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
it's one thing to be like, oh, I realized later on in life or came to terms with the fact that I'm gay, but I have a
Right.
wife and I have kids and like, hey, we need to have this discussion. I don't
Yeah.
think this is going to continue to work out. But the fact that he's just like, oopsie poopsie, just going to keep doing it anyway. Like,
Fine, as long as I like give her a kid, then I can go sleep with whoever I want because that's
Yeah.
different. That's just me being true to myself, and it's basically a hobby, you know.
yeah, the old man like makes
Eh.
him has the kid call him like daddy while they're hooking up and stuff
Ugh.
too. Yeah, it's like it's
I was trying to
bad.
glaze past all that part. I do not understand, and I've said this before, and I will die on this hill. Incest doesn't belong in my manga
no.
or my anime.
Mm-mm.
It just doesn't. And I don't
No.
understand. I thought this was a trend we left behind us in the like early 2000s.
I was hoping.
I don't like to see it continuing.
Yeah.
And you get what I mean?
Yes.
Mhm.
Family members
Fetishization. There we go.
of your family members,
Mm-mm.
that's still
Grody.
incest.
Stinky.
That's so gross.
It's so
maybe don't.
gross. Yeah.
And
Maybe
step
don't do that.
siblings too. Like I don't
Oh,
care.
That's
Don't care.
Yeah, if you were raised together, they're your sibling. So,
So the part that got me is I thought it would get better because it's like in the synopsis on the back, because I'm guilty of being like, that's a cute cover, the title's interesting,
Yeah.
I don't need to read the back.
oh, same. Yeah.
But it's like, it says Jin desperately wants for a normal future, and normal's in quotes, which I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
recognizing that like he's calling it normal, but in reality, normal is what you make of it. So normal future.
Yeah.
But how
Yeah.
can he have a wife, home, and a biological child when he's not turned on by women? And I'm like,
How could he?
rereading it, I'm like, okay, maybe this is like part of what they're working through and like
I
realizing
meant it literally.
they meant it literally, and says discover an unflinching story about navigating one's identity through the sea of pressure and disparagement from the outside and from within. So I'm like, okay, it could be like a coming to a realization and like acceptance story, but like no part of this leads me to believe that that's how this story is going to end.
No. It goes back to like I was saying with the one manga that I was reading where a lot of Japan is still in that you want to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very much like the pressure of fitting in and conforming, and like he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to fit in, but he
Yeah.
still wants to be true to himself, but it doesn't sound like that's gonna work out in the way that we would hope.
Well, and she sucks too, because she's
Yeah.
like, she's
Everyone
she's
in
just-
this sucks. Like every single
Yeah.
person sucks in this.
Yeah, she's literally like, ooh, I like BL because it's hot, but real gay people, gross.
Yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
literally the vibe that I
That's-
get from her.
Yeah,
Ew.
that's we don't love that either.
No.
Like, BL's great to read, sure, but
Yeah.
it's partially great to read because it tells the story of like a
Mhm.
real group of people who like
Right,
live
right.
lives,
So
not
with
just to I can't do that.
Fetishize.
Fetishize.
Yeah.
Yeah, so between
one.
her being Fujoshi but like not liking gay people at all, him
That's so
like
weird.
having this toxic relationship with her and this other dude, and this other dude, then there's the old guy who's like into his son but then takes out on because like they're high schoolers.
Ugh.
Like
I don't know
You
why I
keep
assumed
saying
they
more,
were-
and it just keeps
No,
getting
that's what I mean, like,
worse.
it's
like,
so
oh
bad.
gosh.
It's
I don't know why I
so
assumed
bad.
they were like in college, which
Yeah,
isn't
I don't
great.
either.
To
Nope.
be clear, still not good.
No. No, it literally says
a
the first
little
sentence
better.
is June is an aloof high school student.
Oh no, please.
Yeah, it's
Stop.
so avoid
take that
this
back
at
where you
all
found it.
costs. Do not touch, do not read, do not engage. This is Yen Press.
How dare they?
That's surprising.
Yeah, I know.
Could we stop? Could that also be a trope we stop doing? We talked about this in Which One Is Love, right? Is that what it's called? That
I
one's
don't know
really
which
cute,
is
too.
love.
Yeah, but could we stop pairing teachers with children and young adults?
That's okay.
That's a trend I could see.
That
going away
is
as
my
well.
biggest gripe about, and Doki, you probably can speak on this. In Persona 5, the whole first castle is, hey, this teacher is forcing these kids into relationships. That ain't cool. Kids and teachers shouldn't date. And then one of the dateable people in the game is a teacher. Like, you can't tell me no, but tell me yes at the same time. And it's like,
Yes.
I guess you're trying to justify it because she isn't abusing them, but it's still not okay.
So,
I also
you say teacher,
find
but look
that
at how
so
old this
confusing.
gentleman is in this.
Oh, that's
Oh,
granddaddy.
no.
That's a grandpa.
Yeah, like he's old. Like they gave him like age lines around
Yeah.
his eyes and stuff. Like he is older. Like
That's
he's like
a
a
big no.
full-on businessman guy.
But no, I do agreed with you, T, as well. We all know I love Persona. I have a shrine to it behind me, essentially. That also continues to confound and upset me. They're like, we're gonna hint that there's these lovely gay couples. You can't date them, though, but you can date your teacher, even though we just told you it's wrong to date a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That does continue to confound me. We should just remove that and make a dateable character, and then all will be right with that game. Then it's perfect. No flaws, no faults.
Nothing
Make
else
this
is
for
wrong.
me. Someone
Hey,
on the
they
internet-
let me come out in the second game or in the remake in Royal. I was allowed to go out in the first couple weeks when original Morgana wouldn't let me. You could do that, but you couldn't make a catchy gay.
I know. Disrespectful.
So yeah, this
Some
is
respect.
I almost want to do now an episode where we just talk about manga we didn't like, except the problem is like this is the first one where I'm like,
I
I
know.
hate this. It's not like I'm not going to keep reading it. Like it was okay, it's not my style. I hate this.
And I
That's
feel like
fair.
the only way we could do that is like, do we really want to spend money on this? Like, yeah, the money gets returned, but do we want to spend money on it? No.
I feel like it's a thing where we would just have to slowly compile over things we naturally read and save them for the end of the year. But you're going to be really disappointed when mine is just a bunch of, I thought this was cute and there were butts in it.
Well, because
That's
like
just my whole pile.
well, your pile is like I picked this up not realizing there were so many boobies. This had too many boobies.
Not even just.
Hey, that's for somebody.
no.
Somebody would be like, too many boobies? Really?
No,
Please let
the
me know the
writing-
titles.
I still wouldn't have recommended it. Like, I even told, like, Valsaraptor, like, you can read it if you want, but you don't want to. Because the writing was also really weird and creepy. Like, in general, it was bad. It was really creepy. The guy was like, I've been stalking you for years, and I made sure you fell out of grace so you would work in a brothel, and now I paid for a night with you, and also I'm going to sleep with you even after you're unconscious, and then I'm going to kidnap you and bring you back to my home, and we're going to get married, and I love you. So
What is this so I don't read it? Oh my gosh.
I'll have to look. It was, I don't know. I have it somewhere in the house to get rid of because it really, like, it was so bad and traumatizing. I read parts of it to my fiance and he was like, oh my God. And I was like, it's awful. Also, the writing was weird. Like, I won't say things because you'll be traumatized, but like, you know how like we'll make jokes and we'll be like, who says stuff like that? It almost sounds dirty, but it's weird and creepy. That was like how they wrote the spicy scenes.
Oh.
The word bean was used more than you would want.
Oh. Don't like that. Don't like that.
I don't
It was-
love that.
I'll look it up though and send it to you guys because it was really bad.
Avoid at
I
all
was-
costs list.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed. Non-consensual, we don't love.
No.
All right, as we wrap up, I'm going to go over one more time with the different things that we talked about today. So, see you on my 19th life, 10 out of 10. Read the print or read it on Webtoons. It's really good. Next up, we reviewed Ladies on Top, another 10 out of 10, 6 volumes. It's older teen. There is not a lot of spice. It's really good. Let's Do It Already. In the process of coming out, there's 2 volumes. It was amazing. It's autistic coded, but in the best way. And
More
then
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. And then Failed Princess, super cutie. I'm a cute girl. I'm gonna help my friend be cute. Oh wait, no, now she's so cute that I like her. Gonna keep reading this one. I only have one right now, and how many are out? Doki, you're up. Speed roll.
10 out of 10. I hit the thing again. That's it. 10 out of 10.
Next.
Reincarnated, engineer, lesbians, cutie, very nice. 10 out of 10.
Reincarnation engineer lesbians, 10 out of 10. Perfect synopsis. I've
I
never
didn't
heard a
know I
better
had to
one.
do this. I'm panicking. 8 out of 10. Very cutie. Would be higher if they weren't high schoolers. Basketball. Maybe unrequited love miscommunication. 8 out of 10. I'm panicking. 10 out of 10.
Brett Summer, 10 out of 10.
Brett
Summer. I'd recognize that annoying ass anywhere. 10 out of 10.
Perfect synopsis. Let's roll.
I can't do words. This is just really cute. I want to be your parent so bad, and I'm gonna parent the hell out of you. 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna be a great parent, and there might also be romance eventually. I don't know, 10 out of 10.
Maybe, who cares? 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna be your mom and you're gonna like it. 10 out of 10.
But not mommy.
But not
Yeah, not
mommy.
mommy.
Mom,
Not your
not
mommy.
Mom,
mommy.
not mommy.
Right.
10 out of 10.
All right, Confessions of a Shy Baker, not a closeted real estate agent, bacon on the side. I'd say like an 8 out of 10. Oh yeah, remember trigger warning potential. Okay, close. I gotta do this slightly different than you guys. Okay,
She puts
at
it down and then
30,
she picks it back up. She puts it down and she picks it back up.
at 30, I realized I had no gender. I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10 for me, personally. Thought it was going to be an autobiography, was not. There's some naked pieces in there. Also some, like, slight other trigger warnings that I forgot about while you guys were talking. There's some fetishes in here that are discussed that some people might not agree with, kind of thing.
All right.
Fair.
Put it down. Pick it back up.
Put down.
Just
Pick up this
don't
thing.
knock all of your stuff over
Pick it
like
up.
I did.
Okay.
I heard that.
Yuri SBR, or SBR, I can't say it. I can't word. Thank you, SBR. Volume 2. Liked this one more than the first one. Gonna give it a 7 out of 10. More character growth. Got some more background knowledge on other people. Cuties still in this book. Less creepy. Yeah, less creepy. And not like that. Not the creepy I usually go for, but like different
Like,
creepy.
creep.
Yeah, like I do the creep. All right, there we go. Love you guys. I don't know why I got this like car salesman accent.
We all did it though.
You like manga, I got manga. Come on down to Manga Town.
It's like manga. We got all the. You got the Yuri. We've got autistics. We've got some spicy girls on top. We've got reincarnation. What do you want? We got it.
We got
Villainess.
it.
We got villainess.
You got no gender? We got genders. You want a gender?
You want no gender? You want a gender? You want? What do you want? We got it.
We cover the bases. Anyway.
That is all we have planned for today. Thanks for joining the TikTok Live, everyone who participated today, and for those that listen to us or watch us on YouTube, thank you for your service.
Thank you for tolerating us.
Remember to find us on all your social platforms that you enjoy. That's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all major podcasting platforms. Share us with your friends, or if you're embarrassed of us, I don't blame you. Don't share us with your friends. I don't care. We appreciate you nonetheless. Bye!
Bye. That was a something.